All right, going to be doing a portrait painting demo here, just a quick little study here. And what I'm going to be talking a lot about in this video that has to do with portrait painting is a thing called periodization, which is a way of practicing. A lot of Olympians, like kind of the first ones that kind of started doing this, where you break down what you're learning into kind of like sub skills and you focus on one skill at a time, which I feel like is the best way to learn portrait painting. And that is actually the method that I use in my Portrait Painting 101 course, which is actually on sale right now. It's $100 off. It's only going to be on sale for a week. I got a link to that in the description of this video so you can check that out. But like in this demonstration, I'm going to keep like referring back to that idea of periodization and how that is coming out in the painting. Because when you watch me paint, or watch anybody paint, you're seeing the coming together of a lot of different skill sets and a lot of different ways of looking at the face. So that's what I'm going to try and show you and teach you in this video right here. Got my palette. I got ivory black, alizarin crimson, burnt sienna, cadmium red, yellow ochre, and titanium white. It's another thing I do go over in my Portrait Painting 101 course is my palette and the colors I like to have on my palette for painting portraits and things that I call shortcut colors. Just getting some coffee. Make sure I set that over there so I don't dip my brush in it, which I've done a million times. So to get a drawing, there's a lot of different ways to get a drawing. In the course, I actually use a method using a proportional divider, which is really helpful and pretty much anybody can do. I'm just going to get a little bit of burnt sienna, actually a little ivory black and a little cat red. What am I doing? And some paint thinner to draw this in. I'm going to be kind of using the proportional divider. Oh, by the way, if you're new to the channel, you have no idea who I am, then welcome to Paint Coach. My name's Chris Fornatero, and I help thousands of students every single month get better at painting through my online courses and tutorials. Okay, so what I'm going to do is a little bit different. I'm going to use the proportional divider a little bit, but let's just say I'm just going to try and just look at this head as a whole. Oh, and this is just cheap Fredrix canvas panel. Put a wash of I think it was ivory black, yellow ochre, and a little bit of ultramarine blue because I wanted to push it like a little greener. I go over toning the canvas in the course as well. So I'm just gonna actually, that's kind of where I want this head to be. And I'm trying to look like I'm trying to get the kind of the overall gist here of this head. Think about it like a thing of clay. When you get a clay, you're just gonna go boom, you're just gonna flop down a big thing of clay. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you just want something that you can start kind of cutting away and sculpting at. So that's what I'm trying to do right now. It's kind of like what's going through my head. Is I'm trying to like squint my eyes and just see just the outline of this head. Probably not gonna have time to paint her hand there. Probably kind of like the angle, these shoulders a bit. It's almost like getting a gesture. So okay, that seems about right. It's fitting on the canvas. This is just a study anyway. Now here's where proportional divider can come in, be very, very helpful. Is I'm not going to get exact reference points. Like there's a way that I teach in the course where, I say, okay, from top of the head to bottom of the eye, you get that, you make your mark, you do it that way. But since I'm not doing like to scale for this, I'm going to kind of reference proportions, meaning if I go from her head to her eyes, it's like, all right, I got that. If I mirror that down, where is that? Okay, so that tells me from top of the head to the eyes, it's not quite halfway. Because a lot of times, the eyes will fall halfway down the face. But this one, it's not quite. So if I guess like, okay, halfway there, okay, maybe it's up a little bit. So maybe the eyes will fall a little bit there. And then from that, I can say, okay, what about the width at the eyes? If I take that distance, kind of where would it fall? Bottom of the nose. So if I take that distance, that'd be bottom of the nose. Okay, it's pretty close. Just kind of a reference. And the cool thing is that painting loose like this and these loose lines and everything, it doesn't make you precious about anything. So it makes it easier to move stuff. So say the eyes are around there, and then let's say center of the face is there. So then like we got this, you know, this one eyebrow comes there, then I can kind of guesstimate, okay, from this top of this eyebrow to the hairline, and it looks about right. So let's just kind of take note of that. And then like, okay, this distance here, it's looking pretty close to that distance there. Maybe I can see in that angle down a little bit more. So, okay, you know, got this eyebrow here, there. The edge of the face is there. Kind of stepping back and just trying to see simple shapes. That's another part of periodization that I go over in the course, is like when I'm looking at this and I'm drawing it, I'm not looking details. I don't see eyelids. I don't see like highlights or anything like that. What I'm doing, I'm squinting my eyes and I'm just trying to see simple shapes, because it's a whole lot easier to draw in simple shapes at this point. Simple value shapes. So I can kind of say, okay, that eye is going to be kind of right there. And I think, okay, then there. All right, mouth's gonna be top lip right there. Bottom lip will come there. Then the chin. Okay, we're kind of lining up. Things are lining up. Is it 100% perfect right now? No, but we have the opportunity to fix things as we go. Again, eyes there. Shadow there. And don't worry, in the course, my method of drawing that I go over is like a little easier to follow and kind of break down, a little more beginner friendly. I know a lot of people probably watching this might be a little intimidated by like how I'm drawing this in so loose, and they would feel kind of scared to do it this way. But cool thing is like once you get a hold of like certain aspects of portrait painting, doing it this way will actually feel more comfortable to you. So I actually like to kind of get painting, you know, at this point, things are loose. I don't feel like obligated to keep anything exactly the way it is, but I'm just going to start out with some shadow shapes. I got a bigger brush here. This is like a number 6. I like starting with a bigger brush. Just kind of helps me, you know, figure out bigger shapes. And I am actually, feel like my paint thinner is a little murky. So what I'm going to do, you're going to get to see me change out my paint thinner. I have another one here. This is empty. So I'm just shaking it up right now, get all that sludge. I'm trying to mix all the sludge into the paint thinner so it doesn't stick at the bottom. I'm just going to pour this out into another can. Yep, awesome, that worked. And I will set this can aside. In a day or two, this will settle down. I'll be able to pour off the clean paint thinner. Until then, let's get some fresh Gamsol. I don't change out my paint thinner that often. Like, it takes me a few paintings to get to where it was just now, which was like every time I put my brush in it, it came out like kind of like milky looking. All right, so where were we? Shadow shapes, let's do this. A little ivory black, cad red, a little burnt sienna in there. A touch of white. Just kind of trying to come up with a little yellow ochre. It's an average value color for the shadows. I'm kind of seeing I'm just trying to figure out the overall form of the head right now. Because the head is an egg shape. So that's how I'm trying to think about it right now. And what you're going to see me do here is actually an exercise we do in the course, which is you paint a small version of the head, very simple, how I'm about to do right now. So I'm going to a little lighter, kind of like trying to find something, a little crimson there, something like that. I don't want to go too light. See, I'm kind of already reshaping the head from my drawing. I'm not worrying about features right now. I'm really trying to just think of the head as if it was just a sphere. And actually, I'm just going to fill that in here. We'll come back later with that. And I'm actually just going to push a little ivory black here and just go right into the hair. The thing about hair, I feel like people miss a lot, is just like the transition from the skin to the hair. It's a lot softer than people do a lot of times. So you can kind of just, I'm just blocking it in right now very simply. But you always want that transition. See, I'm really starting big here. The big shapes, just the big information. Nothing's perfect. So I'm already starting to get a little bit of form here. And again, if this kind of painting like this kind of scares you, don't worry. Like, that's why I have the exercise in the course. You know, we do these small little head studies that don't take very long. See the highlight here? I'm not doing the biggest highlight. I'm kind of going just a little bit lighter. Kind of something like this. So you already got some form happening, even more form. It's also just going to help keep you on track as you paint more and get more detailed. It's also going to help you, like I get a lot of people always asking me, like, how do you paint portraits that are so simple that still look like the person or still, you know, accurate? And this is how, is like starting with what's most important, which is this, and then as you go, you can kind of decide and see like where you can stop and be like, okay, I can stop here, like anything else isn't as important. So kind of coming back to the clay metaphor, it's like, all right, now we've kind of taken our clay and kind of sculpted it a little bit more. Like we've gotten a little more specific. We haven't like punched in eye sockets yet or like pulled out nose or anything like that, but we're getting there. We're a little closer now. And this metaphor that I keep using with sculpting, it's not just a metaphor. Like it's real. And I mean, there's a reason why Michael Shane Neal, really good portrait painter, can look him up. He hosts a workshop every year, at least he has been, where he does it alongside a sculptor. And half the time, half the week, you're working on a portrait painting, the other half you're working on a sculpture. And he actually does it too. And it makes total sense. Like if you can actually physically sculpt it, you're going to understand the head so much better, and it's going to drastically change how you paint. Like it definitely did for me. A little more coffee. All right, so what do I want to do now? Let's kind of just start finding more specific shapes, and you can start light, you can start dark, whatever you like. So I'm trying to see like this part of the cheek. Okay, that seems about right. We'll see if that stays throughout. Another thing you could do at this point that I like to do is I'm going to get a background in. I'm not going to use this background because it's too similar to the color of her face. I want something that will contrast it. A lot of warmer colors here. So I'm going to use kind of cooler, a little ivory black, still a touch of red, kind of like a purple. But this can be helpful mainly to help you kind of reshape things as you need. I'm also going to take this and just kind of, there's a plane change here. You can't really see it in the photo. Coming back to this idea of periodization, a big thing is planes, understanding planes, seeing planes, and doing that to enhance what you see or don't see in the photo. Like this color that I'm using isn't in the photograph, but I do see a little bit of the background reflected here, and just my knowledge of planes, like I know that there is a shift right here. That's why in the course I have a like a whole section where we paint the planes of the face. But you see, just doing that just kind of added, you know, some good form to this. So one thing you can do, I'm just going to keep pushing a little lighter. I'm going to try and get something in for these highlights. Not pure white by any means. This is understanding values. Another part of periodization, understanding values. Thing we do in the portrait course is paint a portrait where I put the photo into Photoshop, put it in black and white, and made it just simple value shapes. It's probably the number one thing I see students miss is they don't find enough values, whether it's enough dark values or enough light values, and their paintings end up looking like flat or cartoonish. I remember when I first started teaching on YouTube, I never had heard anybody refer to their paintings that way. And I kept getting the same thing. People saying, "Can you help me? My paintings look too cartoonish." And it took me a minute to like kind of figure out what they were talking about, because I'd never heard that. Now I'm getting a little more specific. This kind of comes in a little there. This is soft. Kind of see form of the face coming out here. Now something cool is happening. I can't tell if it's from her jewelry or from a light, but there's like a warm light on this side. It's like a little golden light, a little yellow ochre. I'm gonna kind of like let this blend in a little bit to the paint that's there. Maybe a little in the ear. Yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, now I'm going to go down to a smaller brush, number 2. I'm going to start trying to find a little more subtlety. So this nose, kind of getting a little more specific with the shape. Coming back to this color here, it's obviously some kind of light is shining from this side and hitting any plane that is facing that side. And I know that the planes of the nose, there's a plane on this right side, and so I can I see it a little bit in the photo. So I can kind of start to indicate, oh, got a little too much red in there. A little bit of that. Now, I also know the plane underneath the nose is going to be a little bit darker. It's facing downward. It's not getting, is not enough, or not enough, but it's not getting a lot of light. So I can kind of quickly indicate this bottom plane of the nose here. Pretty sure that's in the right area. Let's I haven't really pushed any darks, like dark accents, so maybe I can start doing that. Kind of like the darkest parts of the painting. Coming back to this sculpting metaphor, this is like the areas that I'd be kind of like cutting deepest into. This comes up. Yeah, it's not super dark there. Let's kind of start getting some for this mouth. A little black, a little crimson. Kind of seeing where there's a whole lot to know about the mouth in terms of like different planes and just with the lips, how the top lip is going to be a lot of times darker than the bottom lip. Got a whole section in the course about the features, break down the features. exercises, like lectures, and just kind of demoing the features so you better understand it. Seems like the right placement. Again, I don't have time in this video to do the hand and everything, so I'm just gonna leave that out. But we're getting there. And this is kind of also where you can start like molding things a little more. Like this chin could probably kind of come back with the color that was up here and just kind of form this chin a little bit more specifically. I'm always stepping back, kind of taking in things, and I'm thinking I need to, probably need to make this, push this top lip up a little more. Also just making the mouth a little bit wider, kind of out to there. I need to push this out a little bit more. So I got this, and then there's this ear. I think that's about right. Yeah, let's get something in for this bottom lip. Bottom lip tends to be a lot lighter, just catches more light. Different planes of the lip as well. Brightest one is always in the middle. It gets a little darker as it comes back towards the face. So a little bit darker there in the corner. Burnt sienna and crimson. Even on the top lip, this right side is facing the light more, so I'm going to make it slightly lighter. And then fun part's going to be doing reflections. I'm actually just going straight into that background color, some white. This mouth isn't going to be perfect because this mouth can take a lot of time just to kind of reshape, but I think it's good for now in terms of this demo. Just moving right along. Let's, what do I want to do next here? Maybe I suggest maybe it's a nostril there. There. All right. I'm just going to kind of moving through, identifying shapes. And again, like the main purpose of this video, the main thing I want you to take away is that I'm able to paint as quick as I am, and I'm able to, move around and do everything that I'm doing because I'm drawing on a wide range of skills that I've spent time practicing one by one. And that's what I want to teach you. And that's kind of the format in my portrait painting 101 course that is on sale right now for a week for $100 off. So I'm trying to find out where this eyebrow is. So this, noticing I don't like where I put that second nostril. The eye's gonna be there. Let's get rid of that. Just trying to get that eyebrow best place I could. Now, as it comes over the light area, it gets a little lighter and also kind of changes color a little bit, kind of more of this purple. The light kind of goes through the hairs of the eyebrow there. It's a big thing I see people miss is they like time to do an eyebrow, they just do like kind of one value or color mark, and it's like there's going to be different values because the eyebrows, it's on the head and it's turning with the head. Also, going to kind of let that blend into that color it's around it, give it a softer edge. Now this eyebrow on the other side, it's in the shadows, so it can stay darker. Trying to line it up here. I get distracted by other things. I just want to soften that hair. See, I get so distracted. Like I kind of drift. I was like, oh, what's going on over here? And I'm like, oh, I need to change this. Let me change this up here. feel like I feel like this getting distracted with other areas helps me with painting because it kind of makes me paint the painting as a whole. I never get stuck in one area for too long, which can hurt you. You kind of lose the overall perspective of the painting. All right, let's I think I can push like the lightest lights a little more. Also, it's kind of replacing them like this one. Actually, don't like its placement. So I'm just going to kind of get rid of that there. Okay, now I can kind of go back in. Center of this is going to be a lot lighter. Most of the time when people are lit, especially like in a photo like this, or just most portrait photos, because it's either light or the sun, the light source is going to be above you. So like you see this highlight, you see this highlight, this one, this one, this one. They're going to get darker as they come down. Like this isn't as bright, this is a little brighter, and this is the brightest. Might be kind of hard to pick up in the photo sometimes, so that's something that you have to be aware of and kind of make that change. Soften the edges there. Might have made this nose too long. Something that, I don't know. Just adjusting. All right. I think I can go a little bit lighter, this top plane of this nose. And when I'm done with this demo, this isn't like a full completed portrait. This is me just kind of demoing enough for you to see what's going on. I go through so much paper towel. Alrighty. Let's do one of these eyes. How long have I been painting here? 41 minutes, okay. I probably only have time to get one of these eyes in. Didn't want this video to be super, super long. Trying to see. It's a little too high. Just smudge that out. Can't believe it's already been 40 minutes on this. But you can see like how much you can get in 40 minutes. That's because I know kind of what is important. Now with the eye, again, there are just certain things that once you know about the eye make it a lot easier to paint, like breaking down the planes and everything, which I do go over in the course. I'm softening that eyebrow a bit. Actually make it a little darker right there. See, I get distracted. I start painting close to something and I get distracted. Now, color of the eye. Now the white of the eye, actually use a little bit of this background color. Do not want it to be too bright. It's one of the most common things I see people miss. Takes a little bit of reshaping here. And then the other side, it's not as bright, it's a little bit darker. Always just takes some time to get this right, and sometimes I gotta get my little rigger brush. So now under here, you can break down the eyelid into little planes. It's a little darker right there. I'm actually getting a little burnt sienna. You see the catch light of the eye is on the right side. If you go the direct opposite, that's where the color of the eye, because the light shines through the eye and kind of comes out on the other side here, so I can put a little bit of color right there. White, still mixing it into the background color. Try and get clean little reflection there. And then kind of coming back with some of these little highlights. Shaping that plain side of the face. Okay. So I was only able to get in one of the eyes. I didn't want this, how long is this video going? 47 minutes, okay. It's a long YouTube video. But I just really wanted to kind of show you as quick as I could and demonstrate what makes up portrait painting and how you're going to get to painting like this, which you can do. It's just a matter of knowing what to study and then studying on one thing at a time. So again, if you want more information on my portrait painting course, it's on sale right now, only for a week. depending on when I don't know when you're going to be watching this video, but I'll put a link in the description of this video to where you can check that out. And if you want to see what I'm painting on a daily basis, you can follow me on Instagram at Forza43. I'm Chris Fornatero here telling you to go get painting.